explain what it is. So I didn't have any list of rules.
Uh, Let's call the meeting to order. Uh, Did we have any owner comments on the sheet? Did anybody want to speak? Okay. Um, let's verify attendance and quorum. We need 4 to have a quorum. We have 4. If everybody could look at the agenda and we could get a motion to adopt. That would be awesome.
Motion?
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we could glance at the minutes from the last meeting.
A motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adopt the minutes. All right, Nikki, could we get a management update for everybody?
Yeah. So last Friday, we had Kids Night Out event. We saw one of Tanya's kiddos there. We had 24 kids accommodated. We switched from Heritage Hall, since there's a remediation project, over to the activities room. And it actually worked really well, the activities room. Our goal is to have 2 more for the fall session. As far as summer camp registrations began on Monday. As of right now, we just have 12 campers signed up, but they can register for 8 weeks from June 5th to July 28th. As far as the playground, county permits were approved. The vendors are working on both locations, but at the moment, I do not have the ETA of the opening. And that is the update that I have right now for Parks and Rec.
Jim, have you had any feedback? Last time we talked, the adult basketball was going to get started. Have you had any
It
feedback
has
about
got started, yeah. So they play on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We did get notified that sometimes they do play on Wednesday evenings. So right now, we are working with Mike Moda. He's trying to do a youth basketball program. So in the May agenda, we're gonna potentially be approving a youth basketball program. So hopefully
great.
that can help accommodate the basketball.
I think that's a great way to do it. So we have an adult down there and we can talk to.
I will say, though, if they're trying to play Wednesday and not allowing kids to play, because I heard some complaints that maybe the sort of being told that the court was reserved. I just want to note it, and maybe it could go out of the Black Friday flash, if the courts are only reserved for them on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 8.
Okay.
Because there were some teenagers that weren't able to, and I don't have teens, so I just heard this from folks that have told me.
Maybe
So
we
we
could
did
bounce that off.
potentially had that in the Friday flash. I believe that was 2 flashes ago when it got approved. We do have an A-frame down there, as well as it's in the 2 bulletin boards. But we'll continue to follow up and provide
Yeah.
much communication.
And I could call, maybe Anthony could help spread the word. It seemed wildly popular. I was down there Tuesday and then ton of involvement. Yeah,
Good, yeah.
that's great. All right. All right, so we've got several, a facility request, an equipment waiver request, facility waiver request, and then a volleyball discussion. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is it okay, Nikki, are there any, so celebration, swim, the Olympics, AA, can we pull those together? Are they all in good standing? Have we done this before?
We have done each organization here that is being requested. They are all in good standings, and there is availability for each organization.
Okay. So the high school swim team's just trying to have a meet or something outside their normal scope?
So this is to approve their fall session at Lakeside Pool.
Okay.
So they start, it says June 1st, because they kind of do practices in preparation for their swim session or season. That usually starts in roughly in August. That runs all the way through November 13th. We do not have the tentative dates yet for their swim meets, but once provided, we will notify the community. Because as you can see, their swim meets are from 3 to 7 p.m. So the pool would have to be closed for celebration residents. Usually it's only about 5 or 6 swim meets that are home meets. So we're going to try to continue to only have 5 or 6.
And there was some discussion about them sometimes using Spring Park pool. That's not part of this at all.
This is not really.
All right, can we get a motion to approve the Celebration High School swim team hours again this year?
Motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? All right, let's look at Special Olympics. Now, we've done this before too, right?
Correct. And about 400 chairs and 75 tables. This is for the law enforcement dinner on Market Street. So we just deliver the equipment. They do the whole setup and breakdown themselves. But this is for in preparation for the Special Olympics. So they finalize the torch run from Celebration all the way to Disney's ESPN.
Anybody have any questions about the Special Olympics? We have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Anybody second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, what's the deal? The AA group, where are they meeting now? At the North Village Pool or somewhere else?
So the AA group is actually with the Compress Church.
Oh.
So for 2 weeks, it's actually this year, 1 week, they get kicked out because of VPS, vacation
Okay.
Bible study camp. So they just need a location. So they're just asking for 1 week. If the Jones Room is not available, I did talk to them and they're more than willing to work with the North Village Meeting Room.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I have one quick question. Vacation Bible School, I think, is 2 weeks. There's 1 week for the littles and 1 week for elementary.
Correct.
Are they covered? Because this is
So-
only 1 week.
Correct. So I did reach out to Bay Plant because it's usually 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're only requesting 1 week.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure we had them covered.
Mhm.
Okay. Motion.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Nikki, could you put the North Village Beach Volleyball discussion in scope? Well, everybody that's here tonight, what's your topic?
About
They're-
This one. Okay, great.
Mike Moda is on as well.
Okay.
For volleyball,
Okay.
just in case there's.
I'm here.
questions.
Have any questions?
Kind of kick this off and maybe Nikki chime in and educate us on what's going on and how we can better serve it. The way I understand it, sand tennis has really come on as a sport. It's very popular. And we've got 2 sand volleyball courts set up in the North Village. And in this scope, are we talking about only that facility right now? Are y'all playing sand
Yes.
tennis anywhere else?
Just that, just that.
Just there, okay. So you hear things back and forth. I just understand that we've got some posts set up so that we can tie in the nets and kind of go horizontal on those volleyball courts. I know there's been some talk about setting it back the way it was when sand tennis is done. Is someone here leading that group, or is there who is the liaison to the town for sand tennis?
So it is Fernanda, but I know Fernanda is out of town.
Okay,
So we have representatives. So who would like to speak on behalf of beach tennis?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, we all can do that. Yeah.
could you give us a summary of, when you guys like to play? Are you teaching people the sport? What's your involvement? How many people do you have normally show up and when? That kind of thing. Just kind of give us an overview. I'm not familiar with the sport, but I've seen you guys out there playing.
Yeah. Beach tennis is a sport that was created in Italy decades ago, and now it's very popular in Brazil, in all Latin American countries, especially Puerto Rico here.
Mhm.
We are going to represent celebration in many places here in the state. We already making some t-shirts say about celebration. We have made some. We played some, what the name, Singer Island, we played a tournament there. And yeah, I would say about myself, I have my life here before beach tennis and after beach tennis. 1 year ago, I was riding a bike and I saw this group of people playing that sport there, and they stopped there. And there I start my social life here in America. So I'm very grateful for the sport and for these guys, you know.
That's great.
And every day our group is increasing. And now we have people from US, people from Venezuela, people from the new one is, I don't remember now. But that's always we are open to have more friends with us. But we start to have this, I don't say a problem, I say the space is being little for many sports because we have just this court, sand court in all celebration. So we are need to share beach tennis with volleyball, with kids, with football, because there is close that space that people make birthday, kids
Sure.
make birthday there. I'm sorry, my English is not so good. I'm sorry. If you don't understand, I can repeat. So yes, many times we are trying because now you put that pose for us, and we need to take out the volleyball lines and put our lines. And in the beginning of that, we start to have a problem because the pins that volleyball put there are made from plastic. So many times are being broken.
Sure.
So some I don't remember, someone else made the decision. So let's just put the lines there and the volleyball players pin the nails. Because we have our own nails that are made with iron, with aluminum, I don't know, but that never broke. But many times when I live there in North Village, many times I'm driving and I see kids playing there. And kids trying to take out the nets, trying to put the nets, the volleyball nets more lower. And many times this responsibility is come to us. They think that we are moving the nets, but we have our own nets. But I don't know, maybe the best thing to do to not take out the lines, the pins, to not take out the nets. For example, women can't play just them because it's hard to then install our nets there, install for them. So maybe we could dedicate one side to volleyball, another side to beach tennis, or maybe we could put a net that's flexible for both sports because we play with small balls. That net that is there is dangerous for us. The ball can cross in the middle of the net.
Okay.
So there is this specific
Is
net.
this a hard ball, like a
So like
lacrosse
tennis
ball?
I think
It's
it's
softer than tennis ball.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's in the level of our face.
Okay.
So, but that, yes, there is this kind of net that both sports could play, but we need to put something in the poles that we could change the tall,
The height.
Okay.
the height. Thank you.
And that would make it easier to transition. I
Yeah.
was going to ask you, so as it sits, so this would fall into a community member sponsored sport, which means that we have someone we can communicate with if we have trouble as a town, that you can ask for an allotted time, kind of like we were talking about basketball. You know, you get the court these days, this time. There's no money to be made. So if someone's charging money, they would fall under a different contract. So we would need to know that. But if this is a community member sponsored event, then you can block the time. And then the asset should be left exactly the way it was before. So I love that idea, and you guys chime in. I don't want to take the whole floor, but
Can,
the
can
idea-
anybody hear me? Am I able to speak at the meeting, or is it, I'm not sure if I have
Yeah.
connection here.
Yeah,
Can you
Mike,
guys-
give us just this. I don't know much about, years ago, I used to play volleyball, but I don't play anymore. But trying to get educated on the new sport. So can you give us just a second and give you the.
Sure. So and to his point, he's right. The ideal thing, so we've been there for about 10 years, okay, playing, every weekends during the week, whatnot. Back when I believe it was Steve Waring was the head of the, athletic, department for Celebration, we had nets that had to be taken out, and the nets that are there right now, we as a group put the money in to put those nets up. Part of it was done by Celebration, but the nets were put there because, they were the more higher quality, and look, they've lasted a long time. The issue is not that, we're sharing the court, and the issue is not that it's, We're vying for different times. The problem is, number one, like what his point, ideally, we should have adjustable nets that could accommodate both groups. However, then you're leaving up a more maintenance heavy court because, like he said, there are other people that go and use the court that are not controlled groups, that are not sand tennis and that are not sand volleyball. So if you start putting adjustable nets, which they were like that years and years ago, if you remember correctly when you played, they break. They constantly break. So there are times when, if it was just us, two groups using it and we had total control, absolutely. But that's not the case. The court is open to all of the community. So yes, there are situations where there are kids that go in there and they pull the lines out. Of course, that's going to happen no matter what. The real issue from before was that the net was being left up after they used the court. Okay, which literally takes 5 minutes to take down. Okay, so their group would come in and they would use it for the whole day, and then they'd go to about 6 o'clock at night, and then the next day the net would still be up. Okay, no problem. So the reason we can't dedicate either net to it, which would be ideal, is because you can't have an adjustable net. It would be broken every 3 weeks. Kids go there and hang on it. Okay, like the lines, they pull them out, they pull them back in. I'm happy. We as the group are happy that someone else is utilizing the court, but it's got to be left the way that it is, and it has to be left basic. That way, it costs us as a community less money to maintain it, and everybody's happy. We use the court maybe twice a week. Okay, we've been doing that for a long time. We've never had an issue with things being pulled out to the extent that it's now happening. Okay, now, has it happened for a while? No. And obviously, if we just keep it where you go your certain times, we come our certain times, everybody's good. And mind you, there are times that, let's say that we're out there playing, and we as a controlled group who have a little bit maybe higher level, we say, okay, look, we're playing. But as a community association, other people come and want to play, but they don't want to play 2-on-2 or 3-on-3. They want to play 6-on-6 or 5-on-5 or whatever it is. If you take out one net, then now you're limiting the ability of other members to be a part of our group. You see, so
That's all, that was kind of a question I had for you was when you run your leagues, y'all are using both nets, aren't you?
We do, and now
Yeah.
what the real issue is that, like I said, volleyball, like with beach tennis, for instance, there's a lot of people that go out there, and they train, and they're pretty dedicated to it, but they're all pretty much the same level, and you can separate the groups. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not how do you say it? It's not a sport like sand volleyball where it requires you got to be in shape to play. You got to be a certain level if you want to go 2-on-2. So limiting the amount of courts, let's say one for beach tennis and one for sand volleyball. Well, now you're eliminating half or maybe 70% of the people that aren't to that level. They just want to go out there and play.
Yeah.
Independent of our group. So I get calls all the time. Hey, Mike, what days do you have for sand volley? We want to go out there with the family or whatever and go play. Okay, these are the days you can go out. Now, if it's open, go play. But again, if we had only one net, if you have two families that go out there, now you've lost it. Where the alternative is they have the poles there already. It takes literally 5 minutes to put up and put down. Okay. It seems like there's a lot more upside to leaving it the way that it is as opposed to what they're having to go through now. As far as the lines go, I have no problem sitting down with, anybody there from Sand Volley and making it easier because he's right. Those stakes are not meant to be removed from the sand like they're being removed. Okay, they're not. So over time they break. Okay, then the lines get stretched. It's a whole thing. There are alternative lines that are used at other facilities like, Ronaldo Academy or any volleyball where you put the stake in the ground. And it's very easy to set up. It takes 5 minutes. But the problem with that is now you're talking about little pins that go into a hole and you connect the lines, which is super simple. But it's very easy to lose those pins too in the sand. Okay, so like I said, if it's only 2 groups or 3 groups that are controlled, it's no problem. But if you have other people that have access that do not know what, you will have constantly, hey, town hall, we need 50 more pins now because we can't, someone took them. They're in the sand. You see? So this is where it becomes kind of it seems like a simple issue, but it really becomes more complicated as you put equipment in there to accommodate 2 groups at the same time. You see? Okay. So that is our position where right now everything's fine. I mean, we're not professionals. We don't need to have the line tight lead into the sand and, and we're not going to make that 1 point because the line was a little bit adjusted. No one really cares like that, but it just has to be there when we're there. And we have to be able to use it when our allotted time is, when we have our allotted time. That's it.
Right. Yeah, I liken this to pickleball. They've had to figure out a way to make a tennis court work, but you got to put it right back the way it was because it's tennis court. It's not a pickleball court. And so
correct.
They have found
and the issue is it's more cost to the community if we do it a way that that we keep modifying the courts. This is not an issue of court time. This is an issue of it's a volleyball court.
Yes.
If someone wants to modify it for purposes, for what they do, it's fine. But it's got to be put back the way it is. I can't go to the basketball court and decide I want to do a pickleball and just leave it up, or just say, okay, we're here now and take up half the court. I can't do that. It's a basketball court. You see,
right.
So
it's great that
again,
two different
and again, to what he's saying, they have the court 90% of the week. I don't see what the issue is. They could play on Monday. They play Tuesdays and Thursdays during the day. When the light comes and it's a little bit later in the day, they can play at 6 o'clock at night on Tuesday. We don't play then. Okay, and they have Saturdays, and typically they have Saturdays all day. So the issue has been, if they play Saturday all day till 4 or 5 o'clock, we get there on Sunday and the lines are pulled. Well, I don't think it was kids that came at 6:30 at night, 7:30 at night, and just threw the lines the way they want to. Now, after the last time that we communicated with Town Hall, that problem has been resolved. It's been fine for the last couple of months. So, everything's good. Like I said, as long as we keep to our allotted times, everything's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it sounds like we maybe should think outside the box a little bit. One thing that just jumped into my mind, I don't know what the dimensions. Does anybody know what the dimensions of a beach volley court is? How
They're
many
the
feet?
same, volley and beach tennis. I think there's 16 meters by 9 meters.
Yeah. The
How
standard
many
volleyball
feet is
is by
it?
16 meters.
About how many feet is it from the edge of the second court to the street where there's a handicap parking spot there? If we, just talking out loud, if we expanded the sand, is that enough room to add a beach volley court?
Maybe it would be tight.
What do you think?
Hey, Jason, I live in Georgetown. Thinking outside of the box, we have 3 fields in North Village Park. You can just go right across those handicap parking spots. The next field, just plow some sand. It wouldn't be that expensive.
Yeah.
But second option, you guys might not like this. I've seen them play, a great group of people. They have fun. It's great exercise, but the volleyball courts are volleyball courts. Lot B, if it's not being used right now, it's basically a sand pit right now. Just throw some sand, give them 4 dedicated posts. They could have 2 fields right there until someone decides to do something with Lot B.
What do you say, the lot B?
People haven't been watching enough pickleball.
A lot going on.
Between the.
Dog in the
and
CCP building.
Yeah, but
Been
there's
right-
2 trailers there.
Okay, they're just talking about 2 trailers. We get rid of the trailers and we could get rid of the trees and we could plow that, be in town hall and make it look nice.
Yeah, I'm doing the proposal.
You're just thinking outside the box.
I'm just-
That's something that needs to be.
Say it again.
That's just something.
Oh, yeah. These are just talking out loud. There's a lot of controversy over all those lots right now, but
Can I ask a question to the sand volleyball group? Is the main concern the nets or the lines that become an issue?
Mike, the concern is to assemble the net because we, by ourselves, we women, we cannot do by ourselves. We need a man to do that. It's too high and too heavy to straight, to get straight,
And
No,
also,
right, yeah.
the volleyball,
how high is the
it's
net?
178 meters. It's about,
1 second.
Yeah, it's about maybe a
170.
foot below the volleyball net. It goes about a foot down.
Oh, it's that high.
It's my hand.
Oh, okay. I thought it was lower.
Yeah, no, it's very.
No, it's a little
but
higher,
to
yeah.
assemble for us.
When you guys play, how many courts do you set up?
2.
Sometimes when.
And are
Different
they
way, you know,
both on this side, or that you got one on each side of the net?
one at each side.
One on each side?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like the idea when you say that we can like put like sand in the other side of the street, right? You said that there's a huge space there. I think that 2 courts there, it's gonna be fine.
That would be a long process to,
Yeah.
but there is a process for
Yeah, he's
those.
doing a proposal.
Yeah, I'm
She's gonna
working on
send
that.
to-
Yeah, but I think,
At 3 places, at this place, the first one, just in front of the volleyball court. The second one is the lot B, and the third one is behind I forgot the name, the commons.
The HCB school.
No, the commons is not built. Behind the round pool.
Oh, behind East Village and Green Pool, in
Right
Green
there.
Park she's talking about.
oh,
Yeah, there's a baseball,
Oh, out there?
They
Yeah.
play,
it's very big.
Oh, okay,
They have,
lacrosse, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I
look,
think
I
that's a
think that we're
longer
kind
cut.
of on the same page here in terms of, they're right. It is there are a lot of people that play it, and, heck, my family plays it. They're very big. It's a big sport. It's something that's very, if a community's going to use it, I think it'd be a great idea. In the meantime, I think the way that things are now, I mean, we can keep going with it. And if another court decides to get built, even better. I just wanted to kind of, I don't know. I'm sorry. What was your name? From the, I don't think we've ever met. It's from the beach volley. Have you met before?
Mike, my name is Stefania.
I'm sorry?
Stefania.
Stefania, and who was talking before
Stefania,
was
okay.
Angels. Yeah.
Okay. Nice to see. Okay. I'm sorry. Nice to meet you again. Okay. I mean, let me ask you a question directly to them. With the line issue, in terms of the line, do you want to try to do the lines where we have the stakes in them, the ones that we use for like you've been to R9 Academy, correct?
Sorry?
Could you say again? Could you repeat? Mike,
Okay, so
please?
the lines that they use, the lines that are adjustable that you put the stake in, that they use, like let's say at R9 Academy in Orlando.
Yeah, the
Have you
same.
played there before?
Yeah, we play
Yes.
that. We play tournaments.
Okay, so the lines they use, that net line, would that make it easier for you guys as well in terms of the line, in terms of when you guys go to play?
Yeah, that's the one that you use here. But you say
So
that.
why don't we do that
For the
then? Why
volleyball.
So why don't we do that? Why don't we why don't we change the lines that are there now on the volleyball court and put the lines that you guys have for sand and we use it for both? Would you want to do that? That make it a little bit less work.
Yeah, but how can you use for both if our court is at the other way?
So
Well,
what
you
Mike is saying is basically you're using the nets. We would use the same lines.
Both-
So it's
both
easier to
courts.
move.
Yeah,
Correct,
so
yeah.
Perfect, but we need to change to a flexible net, all right? Because that net doesn't work to us, it's dangerous.
in
No,
that
no, it
scenario,
wouldn't be- it
Mike,
wouldn't
what's the
be-
net solution?
There is really no net solution because again, if it was just the volleyball group and the sand tennis group control of those nets, then no question. Let's get adjustable nets in there and everybody's happy. The problem is, remember, we've been doing this for a long time. Whenever we used to have adjustable nets, they would be broken every month because kids, they're right. Kids go out there and they hang on the net, they pull down on it, they try to adjust it, then a pin comes out. It was a nightmare. That's why we ended up buying those nets. You see, that's the problem with the adjustable.
Yeah, have you ever seen the net that they use at replay? They have a net
Absolutely.
that they can lock.
They can lock, but like I say, you are leaving it open to other people who do not play sand tennis or play beach volleyball that go out there and just want to hang on the net and they want to, or if they go out there, go, oh, the net's too high, let me adjust it, and they don't know how to do it. Because remember, at R9, it's control. We all know how to adjust the nets. Here people don't. So last time, I'm telling you, it was a huge expense. We ended up spending what, $700 on those nets out of pocket because those nets that were there before were always broken. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. But
That's
the problem
I
for
agree.
us is
Look,
more the net.
Mike,
Right.
like you are using now, and we are using the same place. What's the main issue for you? The lines?
No. That's not. There's no issue. The only issue was ever you guys would leave the net up. We would get there and have to take the net down. But that hasn't happened for a long time. And the other issue was the lines.
Okay.
We would get there and the lines would be completely thrown. Now, yes, there are times
Okay.
that there are kids who do stuff. I know it's not only your group. Kids go there sometimes on a Saturday morning or whatever. They take the lines, they throw them. Yes, but there have been times that I know that you guys play there all day on Saturday, even though our time is 1 to 5 on Saturday. Okay, no problem. You guys are out there having a good time. Fine. We get there. You guys leave at 5 o'clock. Come 8 o'clock in the morning, the next morning when we get there, the lines were all thrown. That was the issue. You guys are putting the lines back. Even though you guys put the lines back now, it still takes us 10, 15 minutes to put them back because we have to adjust it. We have to move it over. But no big deal. If that's the only issue, that we have to take an extra 10 minutes each time we go and play as a group, it's fine. We're willing to do that because, again, it's a tough situation. The problem with the nets is that, again, it's the maintenance. It's the maintenance.
Yeah.
You're going to have a problem and we're going to have a problem. You see?
Okay.
Because they're going to break. You know?
Yeah, but
Well, maybe we
the
could-
biggest
I
issue-
think that in the last 2 months, like you said, you haven't had any issue with
No.
that, right?
There has
Okay.
been no issue. There has been no issue.
And they have Saturday.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
There has been no issue. You're right. And I thank you for that because, like I said, all we want to do is go out there and use the court and leave.
Monday to Thursday,
see?
8:15 to 11 a.m.
Wow.
Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1, and Sundays, 1.
Yeah, that for us, it's too hard to assemble the net, not the line. The line is easy. We love to assemble the line. But the net for women, we are not strong enough to assemble the net because we need to use like I don't know. We try.
Then, Stefani, I think maybe the issue would be, maybe the solution would be then to have a separate court because, again, we've been here
Yeah.
a long time, okay? The issue is that people will break the net. Not you, not us. People will break it. Kids will break the net. And you will show up one day to have your big group, and that net will be hanging down, and you'll be very upset. And you'll call town hall, and town hall will say, hey, guys, this is the 5th time we're fixing that net. This is not worth it for us, like they did with us 10 years ago. This is in 2015. Okay? It was a huge issue because, like I say, kids are kids, and adults are adults. Because if you get a women's group out there, they want a lower net, they take it out. Next thing you know, the metal thing pops out, the wire that goes across the net, and it pulls through the net. That happens at R9 all the time. We can fix it. But people won't fix that. They'll leave. And they'll leave the net down. And then you're going to come in your group and you're going to go, oh my God, the net's down. And then what are you going to do if you can't fix it? You're not going to sit there for 2 hours trying to fix the net. You're going to play and you're going to leave. And then you're going to call town hall. And then town hall is going to say, okay, we'll get to it when we can. Now we only have one court to play. You see,
May I
that's
ask a
the issue.
question to both groups?
Yeah.
Today, when sand volleyball or beach, what do you call it? Beach tennis, when we show up to play, do you take the volleyball net down at all? It stays up.
We don't
No.
touch that.
Okay. So we've
No,
got
they
a
don't touch
line
that net.
problem.
No.
So let's leave this meeting with the goal of finding a better way to manage those lines. And let's come back. And that way,
I have a solution. I have a solution for their group. I will deal with mine. Why don't we go out, each group? I'll buy some. I'll buy a couple of lines. You use, if your lines work for volleyball, put them in. And then when you leave, you just turn it around, and it takes 5 seconds to put those lines back. It's a lot easier for you to do that and for us to put it back in. Does that sound
Mike, could I trouble you to maybe
easy for both of us?
send some information to Nikki and the group?
Okay.
And they can share it so we can look at it and consider, because it doesn't sound like we have a net problem right now. It sounds like we got a line problem. And we want the asset put back the way it was when we're done with whatever we're doing.
So Sorry, Mike, but I'm trying. Okay, the lines for me is perfect. We can buy and exchange for the volley and the beach tennis. But why we cannot try to buy? We can like share in our group and buy the court that is flexible. We hold the net, we hold the existing net, we hold for here. And then we try to use in just one foot, just to try to see what's going on. And then we try to use the flexible one. And then if it's broken, it's our problem. And then you put the existing net back.
Okay, can
No,
I
that's-
repeat what I heard? So what I heard was, she says they're willing to buy an adjustable net, hopefully a really durable one. And we could experiment on a court, see how it goes. If it doesn't go well and it breaks, we'll put the other one right back up.
The problem with
Would
that,
be a reasonable experiment, Mike?
it wouldn't be, because then you have to change the posts. Those nets they're talking about require a post that it already has a crank in it. That the ones that we
Oh,
have do not work.
I
If they
remember that.
did, that'd be easy. That'd be 2 seconds. But those
Is
posts,
there a solution that would use the existing post?
Well,
With the existing post, yes, I can send Mike the net that the guy is using in a parking meter here.
Okay.
That's very.
Why don't we do that? Maybe you could share that information. We could all take a look at it. We'll get it to Mike. Just run it through Nikki would be best.
Okay,
And then Mike, would you send the line configuration that you're talking about to Nikki so everybody can see that?
I'll tell you what we could do even one better, make it streamlined. That way he doesn't, why don't we do sometimes this week? Let's get together, myself and Stefania and the group. Let's sit down, let's go out there and take a look at what we can do. Because like Grant, that would be a great solution. That'd be easiest.
Yeah.
But
Good idea,
again,
okay.
Be great if we could
preface all
switch turn
this-
over quicker. Would be great.
absolutely, no. And I preface all this meaning this. What we're afraid of, I should say, is that if we do this, and we have to put the other nets back up, and then, because those things are, once you take those lines, I mean, if it's not able to do, who's going to incur that cost? Right? That's what we have to sit down and really hammer, because once we change it, it's changed. And then we have to figure out, if we can get a locking adjustable net, that way no one can adjust it. And I have a key, or, their group has a key, we have a key, and that's the only one that can adjust it. That might be a solution too. What do you think?
Well, then it's a community asset.
That have two groups.
That's
what I
keep
keep
coming back
to.
It's a community asset, and I love that both groups are trying to, work together also, but I'm also not willing to give up that community asset where kids can go play or other families can go play that are not part or at the level that you'll play.
Well, I think I'm going to repeat, Nikki said this earlier, no matter what today, the asset needs to go back to what it's designed for, which is 2 sand volleyball. But if we could convert it quicker and
Well,
it's
you
easier
know, we
on the
could-
ladies to switch.
What we
I
can
have
do
a question
too.
real quick for both groups. I have had multiple kids come up to me and say that when they're going to use it, whether it's a reserve time or not, I cannot say, that they have been told, I paid for lessons here today, or we're running a tournament here today. And so.
That is not part of our group.
Okay.
That's not
Okay.
even that would be, and again, that's to the point I made originally. We do have kids that go out there that play in the middle school. A lot of girls that play in the middle school or play club volleyball, they'll come out. And they'll come out, not all the time, but they'll come out. So if we as adults are out there playing on one court, okay, now these kids show up. I can't go and play against a girl that's 12 years old. It's dangerous. So what do?
Right.
We'll take one court and go, hey
I
guys.
understand that, Mike, but what I need to find out is when does the community have access to this? And if there are people that are charging for lessons or tournaments, it's all hearsay. I cannot confirm whether that's true or not. If it is for that, other groups such as soccer or tennis or baseball, anybody else who is collecting funds, a portion of those funds go back to the community. And those funds could help fund for lines or nets, or I'm not sure I'm following for all that piece of it. But I do want to know if lessons or tournaments where funds are being collected. Mike, you said your group isn't. Is that
Not
true?
yet.
What do you mean
No,
not
actually,
yet?
we had a coach over there, like, I think till this September of last year,
Okay.
but he quit. He wasn't showing up anymore, but he used to charge And now we have a Fabio, he's a coach.
We asked Fabio
Okay,
to coach the new people, the new people that want to play. They always ask us, we need to learn to play, to enjoy. So we asked Fabio, because Fabio is our best, by the way, why you don't teach the new people? And he said, okay, to me, no problem. But till now, he's not charging nothing.
Yeah, that's great. Teaching the sport is great. As long as, if someone's making an income from it, it falls into a different category with the town.
Yeah, we spoke to Nick yesterday, me and my wife, and we understood that. And we talked to Fabio, he's gonna contact her, because the reason that he's not charging. Because we don't have the structure.
Sure.
No,
Yeah.
we don't have the nets. We bought the nets,
Right.
but you don't have someone to assemble the nets.
For example,
We don't have
sometimes
the
he give me
schedule for-
classes, but
to
he
use.
doesn't charge me because I need to help him to assemble the net. So
We
it's
don't have the
like
schedule.
informal for now. Like,
He doesn't have a schedule to say,
Okay, but see, can I say, I'm sorry,
Every day, 9 a.m.
Right, but if someone's gonna charge, you have to go through the partner program, you have to have insurance.
Yeah.
Charge it, portion of that
Very
goes to the celebration.
Yeah, no, he knows.
Well,
Yeah.
well, to that
And
point,
also, and I just want to make a point too, where times are set, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Families or kids want to come and it's not during the reserved time, they have to be able to play as well.
well, can I make a point to that? Can I make a point to what you're saying there? And I agree with you. See, that's why it's a false. I was speaking with Nikki when she asked me when we're doing, when another group was coming in, who are the list of people that you have playing? And one of the issues was, well, there's a lot of people that play sand tennis, and that's true. But again, to what they're saying is, well, if I was to go get a coach, okay, to recruit kids and not charge, I can get 100 people out there. That is not what our group is about. We live in town. We just want a place to play volleyball. Okay, and we've been doing it for a long time. There's no coaching. There's no anything. Again, if we start changing one net for the other, we are eliminating our ability to say, okay, hey, Stevie and Johnny, you want to come play? I always tell kids, you can ask anybody. Kids want to come play that are able to play, that the parents know about, please come. And I sit there with them sometimes an hour after I'm done playing to help them, to go with them and play. I enjoy doing it. Okay. But that's why the sand tennis, it's not the same group. We are people that play volleyball. If they're talking about a coach coming in, even if it's for free, it's still a coach that's a marketing tool that gets people in there that otherwise would not be playing. So then why are we going to modify courts for a group that is not? It's about training. It's not about it's not about the community. That's what I thought it was about. So again, this is why I'm reluctant to say, yeah, let's just change the nets and do this, because now you have a selling point. Oh, hey, look at both these nets. It's a sand volleyball court. They can get 200 people in there. You see, so it becomes that slippery slope. We can't compete with that. If we get 10, 15 people at a time, we're very happy. So, that's something we have to speak about. But again, if it's something that can make the situation smoother for the town and whatever, and for the other groups, absolutely. I mean, look at the court now. Looks great. It's got nice sand. It got those bushes that have been there for 20 years that were slicing us up, all those times going through it has all been cleaned up. We're having other groups playing, but it's got to be a community group of people that play and are just there for recreation. That's the only reason we're out there. To your point. Hello?
Mike, we're here, stand by.
Yeah, so those
Okay,
are all
sorry.
good points. There's a few things with a community member sponsored activity, and it's great. We were just talking about basketball. When we know someone that lives in the community that's vested, that's willing to kind of host, all community members are supposed to be welcome. Nobody's making money, but at least we have a direct line of communication with that group as a town to talk through problems or issues or work together, right? So it's great. It's also in our bylaws that those events should be 50% resident, active or more. So it should never turn into one resident and 40 people who don't live in our town, right? Because our asset that we're using. It. People can go learn the sport. I would like to learn the sport. I think it's great that y'all are teaching. But it's not a moneymaker either. If it's a moneymaker, that falls into a different category. Doesn't mean we can't do it. Just means
Agreed.
it's a different category.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
So if we could, if I might suggest to both groups, it sounds like for now, we don't have sand volleyball courts anywhere, but there's another path for that. But maybe some technology would help us transition better so the ladies can set up quicker and we're not tearing up our stuff. Everybody has a great point that kids are out there tearing stuff up all the time. So this is not necessarily pointed at either group, but we want to put something durable there that's long lasting, easy to transition, and maybe we can find something that would help both parties for now. And then maybe if you guys want to go through the process, maybe we can find a place to just put sand beach tennis courts. Sound like a good plan?
And could I make one more point there too? So what we've run into, which is another issue, and I know obviously you guys have other thing to get to, but the issue that's been happening with sand tennis, is that even though the group isn't there, if you have people that are outside the town that come in that have played with the group, you can have your 4 guests. We have run into situations where we've been playing on our time and people show up to play sand tennis at that designated time that are not residents there. Okay. And they sit there, they hem and they haw. And I've complained about this in the past. So if you dedicate, as long as the other group is aware that the more people they have that come from the outside, and this happens with sand volleyball, even though we don't know who the people are, they cannot assume, it's a sand volleyball court, because you will be the only beach tennis volleyball court in this section of Orlando. That will attract a lot of people that do not live there. Not to the fault of beach tennis, sand tennis, but that will be a result of that too. So that's what we got to kind of find, that maybe, more monitoring is necessary. Also, I have also heard from other people that they've been taken off because, someone's playing sand tennis. I'm not saying that it's the group, but it does happen. We've been there a long time. No one has ever come to the town and said, no, we're not allowed to play there. We have only made accommodations. And people who do not live there do not play unless they're a guest of ours. So that's something that we have to also discuss.
We have a process in place for the non-community members showing up. Do you have that hotline phone number that we can have a staff member come check IDs?
I do have it. I do have it. Yes.
Yeah, I get it, man. It's not a gated community, so people can show up. We have a process for handling it that you guys don't have to be the bad guy. You can call
but we've been approached with sand tennis. With sand tennis, go ahead.
Yeah, but sometimes happens with volley as well.
Yeah.
The guys from Tropics, they use it to play.
Anytime you see that.
Not Tropics, Toreros.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and you're right. And look, you got.
Sometimes they play
You are
there,
correct.
they don't live here.
They don't live there.
No, that does happen.
Yeah.
However, number one, that does happen. We ourselves have taken them off the court. They're not part of it. But number two, and of course they go there for training because of course, it's good for the high school team or the AAU team. There are some people who live in the community that go and play. So sometimes they're within their rights because it's 4 guests per kid. So if a guy's there, he's a teenager and he plays for the volleyball team in school and he brings his 5 friends out, that's how it goes. But I agree with you. There are people who go out there that claim to be part of the sand volleyball group, and they are not. And they're not authorized by me or by anybody that's on officer or whatever you want to call it. No, whoever goes out there is a resident or is no one's taking advantage of it. So I do understand that part about the beach tennis. But I said, look, Stefani, let's do this. Nikki, could you text me and email me and her, and let's get our phone numbers together, and let's get a day. We'll go down there together and we'll talk about it and we'll see the best solution. Can we do that?
That's great, yeah.
Right.
I can ask your phone to Mike, to Bruno, if you prefer.
Bruno?
I know Bruno very well, but Bruno, we had a couple of discussions about it, but I think it's important that we all talk because, like I said, this is not a question of, I've been playing volleyball there for this long and I've had the run of the court. No, it's good that other groups are there. We need other groups there. It's awesome. But it's got to be along the rules. So let's get a time. So do that for us, Dickie, and then we'll resolve it from there. I think we can do it.
That's great. And then we're gonna post down there by the courts, both groups' schedules, so that it's visible. So
Okay.
if there's ever a question, you just point to the board. That's it.
Absolutely.
No more.
Okay.
No more.
Done
I
deal.
would also like to request that we have that number, whatever hotline number it is, because not everybody knows the number if it's
And if we
kids,
could-
residents.
And if we could add that to the basketball court. Yeah, so we haven't officially shared that park monitor number with everyone, to be honest. It was mostly shared with rentals, partner programs, because I think if we post that number, we're just gonna get random phone calls about like, hey, my dog,
Correct.
you know, someone, you know what I mean? It's just not, that's something I'll definitely review.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, no,
I just wanna-
We can solve for that later, but I do think there needs to be a way that a resident can say, I'm not being able to use the facilities.
Absolutely.
For the
We
instance
have
that
not
happened at the
emergency
basketball
number
courts
as
where
well.
the kids were like,
Right.
you know,
The
we
kids
can
don't
turn
know what
off.
to call.
And
Yeah.
they didn't have a phone number to call. They were like, you know, we got thrown off and,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
not. the
Absolutely.
time. We don't-
Absolutely.
got thrown
I
off.
totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. It's like I say, it's got to be along the rules, and you know, we pay for it. We're all residents. We, you know, it's got to be along the rules. I totally agree. Now, Grant, I agree with you. I've had this number for a long time. Only I have it for our group. You know, so if we have it for the other groups, that's even better, because there's going to be situations where people come out to the train for baseball, and these coaches. This happened during COVID. We had coaches from everywhere in Orlando coming to our courts and doing training, and we had, you know, it was confrontational at times, and so we need to avoid that at all costs. I agree.
Well, I think we,
If I'm looking at this right, that basically all day Saturday and all day Sunday, those courts are used by just these two groups?
No, what it is, no, what we have
No,
is,
no,
so,
excuse me, Mike, can we let, Vicky answer, please?
oh, sorry.
So, no, you're good. You're good. So Saturday and Sunday, it was supposed to be like a 9 to 1, but I know some groups, if they want to do Saturday, they push it from 1 to 5. So again, that's something that I can meet with the groups, go over his schedule, so it's fair for both groups. So it doesn't look like one
Well,
group's
it's
getting
fair.
90%.
It's also
Or,
not,
no, I
Yeah,
understand,
because
but
there seems to be no time for like regular folks to go when they're not
so
working. or-
I apologize. Let
Yeah.
me correct. So it's fair for, they have fair share of the courts as
Yeah.
well as the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
perfect.
because
Like the tennis court, right?
what I wrote down,
Sorry?
The tennis courts, they are like, they have rules.
Yeah.
They're-
Yeah, so we have rules with the tennis courts, so we want to make sure they're fair for both the community as well as the provider.
yeah, because it just looked like from what you showed me, that over the weekend, potentially, it's booked solid, so. Yeah, that'd be great. I think that's right.
Well,
I think that
again,
the-
we, you know, if a family comes out that wants to play volleyball, and we all, it's never been an issue. It's never been an issue. It's always been like, yeah, of course, let's go, let's play. You know, and if they want to play in their own sector, that's why we need 2 courts. You
I
see,
think
that's
that
why.
if the town posts the hours of usage by the two groups, we just need to review that and make sure that, I think this committee just reviews that again.
that's great. That's
Sounds
good.
good.
Okay.
One quick thing I do want to bring up, so thank you, Mike.
Okay.
I know that you all requested, they sent me a quick request when I was talking to them yesterday. So May 20th, they're trying to do like a little tournament at the volleyball courts. And they're requesting to remove the net for this one-time use to put their net up to do a beach tennis tournament. Is that correct?
Correct.
Just want to make sure.
So more than 4 courts.
No, it'd be 2 courts.
2 courts.
They would
Oh,
just
just
take
two.
down.
Just to
remove
go
the
record.
volleyball and net and put hours, and then someone has to put back. I don't know if there is a special
Correct, that,
company
that's
that's gonna
the,
do that.
well, that would be the downfall is it would be one of our staff members doing it. It's usually our maintenance staff, not our park monitors, so it probably wouldn't be resolved till Sunday morning. I'm not sure.
But
Depending
if
on
we're
their
hosting
schedule.
tournaments and we have people from outside, not within celebration and stuff, how does that work with insurance? How does that work funding wise? Like tournaments to me, like with soccer tournament, right? You pay to play. And then there's insurance and all the stuff. How does
So
that
they
work
would
out
need
with
to
our
provide
companies?
a certificate of insurance when we do tournaments. So as far as your tournaments, is it just, are you looking?
This
just
will be
to
our
celebration?
second tournament, our second celebration cup, you put his name.
So is it just?
80% are residents. I'm sure about that,
What,
80%.
what did you ask?
So your first tournament, did you just have it playing sideways? Like, how did
Well,
you?
we just keep the courts, the volley courts, the first one.
Okay,
Actually, it's not a big deal, okay? We can do the tournament as, with the volley nets, but if you remove for us to record the videos, to get more, the organization's better, if we remove the voting rights. But if you can, that's fine.
Is the ask that the volleyball group give up their time that day? Or
No,
is it?
it's the ask.
Just to-
Actually, we don't know. We thought that Saturday was ours, but I think that is not.
Correct, so that's something, so as far as the tournament, that's something that we would need to talk to
Okay,
internally
okay,
before it's
okay.
brought to the,
Yeah.
to the committee.
It-
So let's,
To be clear, the tournament is just between us, our group. It's not a big tournament, it's just between us, it's something that.
It's a kind of confraternization between us.
But no
We
matter
did
who
that in December.
it's a legal insurance. It's a liability for us as a town. And that's the question is, no matter what sport it is and whether it's for profit or not, even if I'm a resident and I need to want to rent this room, I have to produce insurance. And so it's the same thing with the courts. If I want to have that so I can have a tournament, I have to produce insurance. It's just a legality that keeps all of our noses clean, keeps us out of trouble.
What
And
about
so-
if everybody signed a waiver?
It has to have insurance. Because even if I have a kid's party in here, I have to have insurance.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
What's the
and that's
insurance?
everywhere. Huh?
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, no. It's just so if someone gets hurt,
Yeah.
they could, resident or not, they could come to town. And so I just want to make sure we're consistent for all sports.
And it looks like for Saturday, beach time, 9 to 1, right? That's
Okay, so the tournament should be between 9 to.
No.
Yeah.
This specific day, I think that's gonna.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about-
But then that would intrude on my time if that's the time. It's something that they would have.
so as far as the tournament, so as of right now, let's put it on hold until we can further discuss, and then I'll bring it back. Okay.
All right, well.
And I think if we can get the one,
Hey, Mike, hang on just a second. Does anybody on the committee have any more comments related to these two topics?
No.
Okay. Mike, do you have any closing comments before we wrap up this topic?
no, I think we're all good. I think, like I said, if we can just get into contact with each other, the two groups, we'll sit down and, I think that'll be the best way. That way we can put this to bed for once and for all.
Okay, and then beach tennis, does anybody have any additional comments on this topic? I'd like to thank both groups for working together and meeting. And if you guys could just kind of follow up with us on that, that'd be great. And then the tournament request, if you can walk through. Yeah, good.
And I'd like to invite everybody to play with us every Saturday. Is a very
I'd
fun
love to learn.
game.
Yeah.
It's easy to play.
Yeah.
I never was.
Not
to
to
play
play.
lot, and I enjoy a lot. Every Saturday we are there, and the group is very funny. Yeah.
Any other comments?
No.
So thank you guys. I know your time is valuable. Thank you for educating us tonight and, heard so much about it. And I'm glad that we're trying to work together a little better till we get more facilities.
Thank you, Mike.
Does anybody have any other comments on these topics or others?
I have another topic that I want to address. In attending the PROA meeting last week for pickleball, it was brought up that they are working with the Recreation Committee and that the Recreation Committee approved Lot D. I've been on this committee 1 year and we haven't ever discussed that I'm aware of pickleball, other than eventually we need to get rules and establish all of that when that's brought up. I just, from a town point of view, think it needs to be said that the Recreation Committee, do you remember discussing it?
No.
Okay, do you? Is it just me?
Well,
It was the
was that
previous.
not, they went through that
It was the
before us.
pre-
Yeah.
So that's
Been going
over a year ago and
And our
there's,
recommendation was a little bit different than what is being
yeah,
displayed.
I just think as a Recreation Committee, I would like to propose that we have a statement that says it hasn't been discussed in a Recreation Committee over a year. And that what was proposed, apparently I was not on the committee then, is different than what they're saying the Recreation Committee proposed. My understanding is the Recreation Committee proposed Lot B, and that it was said in the meeting last week that the Recreation Committee proposed Lot D. And so, and Charles, I know you were part of that meeting, so if you have any comments on that, it just doesn't seem like the story goes together right now.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. And I'm prepared to issue that clarification as well on Thursday. And I've had to go back in time and kind of follow the breadcrumbs to figure out how we how we got to this point.
Yeah.
So what I would say is I would invite you, definitely send me an email if there are any other comments. I mean, I certainly want to, kind of paint the history of, the PNR recommendation was Lot B, right? And my
And it was
understanding
from the
too.
committee.
So the recommendation, I was on that committee, and so Brian Kinsel was here. And so when we were discussing the recommendations, most of us on the committee preferred Lot B. The pickleball committee did not want Lot B because it wouldn't be big enough for all.
Okay.
Couldn't double
18
stack the
eights.
courts, right?
It
Right.
did-
Couldn't double stack them to promote the social
could
aspect of the
hold-
game.
Exactly. It could hold 6 pickleball courts, which wasn't what pickleball wanted. Then there were discussions when Brian was here, well, how about Lot D? If we couple it with fixing, so it was like a negotiation with coupling with fixing the 2 fields, the soccer fields. Then it went down to 1 field, and then we're like, okay, if it's Lot B and pickleball, let's not put it smack in the middle of Lot D, because then, there's not enough room. There were situations where Dory Moyer was talking about the special events, all the events that we have, and parking, that we need parking. Then Brian spoke about, well, we'll do a pad ready as well. So potentially maybe basketball courts would go there. There was a lot of going on, and then it kind of just got removed from Parks and Rec. And it went directly to the pro board because they have final say anyway. And there was a lot of, as it is now, it's a heated discussion. So that's basically what happened. We were of, hey, Lot B, and we were basically told, well, it won't hold everything and we want to move forward with this. So if we do Lot D, let's do that. And so, I mean, Adam Parrish was our chair at that point. There were plenty of emails going back and forth. The whole committee wasn't copied, but I'm sure you can run a FOIA request and see what is there. But I know he was a major player and trying not to use up all of Lot D. So, yeah.
Yeah. And look, I think there are going to be a lot of lessons learned here. Wherever this may land. I've had some conversations with board members and even the pickleball subject matter expert group just to kind of understand at what point did Parks and Rec get cut out. And it seems like pretty early on.
Yeah, it was the point where the pickleball SME group kind of took over. And then they became the point with the Crow board. And that was with, the Crow board, that's how they decided to run. And so we moved forward. So, we gave our input, and all we could do as a group is give the best recommendation that we can. So, But I will say,
and like I said,
I will say, full disclosure, my husband is the chair of the CCDD, and with last meeting between CROA and CCDD, which they're discussing it tonight. He couldn't be here, but they're discussing tonight where they could possibly put a bond up for Lot D to put up a community center, and which would include whatever, the specifics are, up in the air, but it could include basketball or multi-purpose courts or whatever, and perhaps maybe pickleball goes back to Lot B or whatever, but the offer is there, and I know that they're discussing it today. So I just wanted to put that out there for whoever, wasn't able to go to the meeting last week. So opportunities are there.
Charles, it's still on the schedule to vote on that pickleball Thursday, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
On the bidder?
Yeah, it's on Thursday. We'll be voting on it.
Okay. I just remember when I first sat on this committee, we did a survey, and it was overwhelming how popular pickleball was. At the time, I didn't know what it was, but it's the fastest growing sport. And I know we've got a few detractors. I got some text today, but I think it's kind of ridiculous that we've taken this long to get it done. But everybody wants Lot D.
Yeah. I don't think the question is getting it done. What location?
Yeah,
put it.
right.
What's the best location for the community? Just like we're saying, tournaments might not be the best thing for a sand court. Maybe having 16 courts eventually is not the best thing for pickleball. We've got shared resources. So I think that's where.
I just think it was shocking to the residents because I had told people we hadn't discussed it. I've been on this committee a year. And then that meeting, they were like, the recreation committee is totally behind it. And I was like, we haven't even discussed it. So I think it needs to be clarified in town when those comments are being made by CROA board members.
Because I have a question, why we cannot use the soccer fields? Why the soccer fields are closed?
For the community.
For the community. My son, I have two sons, they play soccer. Every time they ask me, why, mom, why is closed?
So they're for reservations only. So we did have a moment where we did open the gates, but we had folks, kind of rooming the fields out there. Why a staff member wasn't there. So right now is, feel free to call us at Parks and Rec, make a reservation, and we'd be more than happy to accommodate.
Oh, really?
When the fields were open, the bathrooms got disgraced. They were poop smeared all over. Metal cleats were being used like over by the turf. So it didn't work well. So
Yeah, but if they pick a ball, they're gonna use the same bathroom, right?
I'm sorry.
If they pick up the new pickleball courts, they're gonna use the same bathroom, right? So if my son calls and make a reservation, they can use the soccer field.
Absolutely.
Wow, okay, thank you.
An adult, yeah. Yeah,
An adult.
so you would just need a call. On
Okay.
behalf of your son.
Yeah, he's 18, but okay.
Oh, okay,
Oh, no,
very
no,
good, sorry.
yeah.
I thought you were talking about that. Totally, I'm sorry.
Does anybody have any other comments? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, my last comment. I didn't put in an application for Parks and Rec, so this is my last.
Oh.
Official meeting.
Yeah, I didn't either. This is my last meeting as well, so thank you.
So
Thank you
it's
both.
been a pleasure.
Having fun?
Thank you both.
I've done it for 3 years. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for your.
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate it.
I just figured it's maybe someone else wants to take a try.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys.
Be
And
best.
the other thing,
Thank Do we have a motion to adjourn?
motions to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
you.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.